Hey Thrivers, Heather here. Hope you're doing awesome today. We're going to do jump right in here with day number 13 of our Better Me, Better Marriage Challenge. There are only 5 days left on this challenge. Can you believe it? It's going by so fast. I know that it's been very, very helpful for me, and I hope it has for you too. Now, kind of a sweet story. Now, my mentor is telling me I need to be funny, and I don't do funny. I love to laugh. I love to enjoy humor, but I don't profess to be a very comedic person. So this is not a funny story. It's a sweet story, and maybe we'll evolve into being funny at some point later on in life. I'm laughing at myself. You guys are welcome to laugh at me because I'm trying to be funny. It just doesn't work for me. So anyway, sweet story. So yesterday, as we were doing Hey Mary and everyone else joining, we were talking about criticism versus appreciation. And I did not know that my sweet little 7-year-old had snuck into the room. My kids often come and go during my live streams, especially these challenges that are just very real and very raw and very down to earth. Nothing fancy about them, but just actual life-changing awesomeness. Yes, that's what we're about. So my 7-year-old snuck into the room, and she was watching and listening from the corner of the room as I was talking about having received a very critical message from a member of our group, right? Letting me know that the math and science people were rolling their eyes at me or shaking their heads or whatever it was. I don't even remember. See, it doesn't even matter anymore. Hey, Matthew. Hey, Tracy, Lauren, JD. And so she was listening, and I didn't even know it until after I was done. Then I looked over and, oh, there she was. And she said, Mom, there's people that say mean things to you still? And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, I thought when you're an adult that people don't do that anymore. Like, those are things that you tell me that I shouldn't be doing. And like the teachers, when someone's being mean to me, we talk about it. And I thought that by the time you're an adult, like the adults shouldn't do that anymore. And I just had to give her a big hug and say, unfortunately, no, we still do it. We probably should have learned those lessons back in elementary school and as young children. However, that's still part of it being an adult, and that there's going to be people that don't approve of you, that put you down, that judge you, that treat you harshly. And sometimes those are the very people that we love the most. And she was just kind of like baffled that we would still be talking about someone kind of name calling or putting others down as adults, and that should be something we had taken care of years ago. I agree, but it's part of our evolution. It's part of our journey, right? And so shifting away from that criticism and that need for defending ourselves, right? We talked about that. So how did that show up for you? Did you find that you were feeling defensive yesterday? Did you find that someone's criticism of you was kind of getting under your skin? Were you able to turn it around? Were you able to let it go? Were you able to shift instead of feeling, that defensiveness to that inner peace? Like yesterday, our challenge was, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. That when we're defending, we're just perpetuating the attack defend cycle, and that we're acting out of that fear. And when we're in that fear mode, we're not in our safety, right? So did you experience that? Have you done a check-in with yourself? Are you personally coming at someone with more criticism, or are you coming at a situation or a person with more of that love and appreciation? Okay, so I'd love to hear from you and see how it manifested for you in your day and how this challenge went for you. I just became even more keenly aware of any time I might be feeling more the need to defend myself in any way. And I noticed that I was trying to defend myself against myself, which might sound kind of strange, but I'm really working to improve my nutrition and my physical health and energy. And so as we went out to eat last night, Ben was like, we've had a really busy day. Why don't we just go grab some food? And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just, I'll get my really healthy low carb salad. It's going to be great. Well, no, I didn't. I got a burger and fries. And then I was like defending myself to myself. I was like, well, I've been doing really good. And I was feeling defensive against myself because I was feeling insecure about my own actions. And so you know, sometimes it comes from someone outside of us that's critical of us or judging us. And sometimes it comes from within when we know that we're not living up to our potential or we're not keeping our commitments to ourselves. And I recognized that I was trying to defend myself against myself, and that was only creating more conflict instead of saying, you know what, I could have made a better choice. I'm going to do better, and I'm okay with it, and I let it go, right? So how is it showing up for you today? Another really cute, really fast story is that my daughter had a playmate over, and they were kind of picking at each other about sharing a toy. And then my 7-year-old was like, you know, when you say hurtful things to someone else, it only hurts you. Because we had talked about that, and it's true. And how powerful a lesson to be able to teach our children and teach the next generation that truth, that when we hurt someone else, it only is hurting us. And I would love, my intention where I would love to be in my own journey is I would love to get to the place where, you know, someone gives me negative criticism or attacks me or anything like that, because as I share more and more of my story, then I open myself up to get more and more criticism. When I make myself raw and vulnerable, sometimes the feedback comes back and it's not pretty, right? So for me, I would love to get to the point where, whether it's publicly or even more importantly, privately in my own family and my own marriage and my own life with my children and my dear ones, that if I get criticism, there isn't that gap of, oh, that kind of hurt, that kind of stung, and now I'm going to work to let that go. Now I'm going to release my need to defend myself, where I really am at a place that it's not that, how do I describe it? It's at a place of such acceptance and such love for myself and the truth of who I really am, that it's just like a baby babbling, you know, and it doesn't even, I guess, penetrate that emotional core, because I'm so centered in who I really am. And I don't feel the need to judge. I don't feel the need to defend myself against anyone else. I don't feel the need to want to attack or prove I'm right to anyone, that's just completely gone. And that I'm so strong and centered in who I really am, the core of who I really am, that I can be a rock. Like, I love that analogy. That comes from one of our past clients, Bruce. I just love that. And he became a rock in himself, like a rock in the storm. I'm just so grounded. I'm okay where I am, and it really doesn't matter what goes on around me. I am exactly who I need to be, doing what I need to do. That is what the core of it all is. So we're all on a journey, and this is awesome. So let's keep going with it. Hey, Kaylee, hey, Lisa, Joe, everyone else. Good to see you. I'm so proud of you for showing up and doing the work every single day and going at it 100%. Even if it's not 100%, even if you're just showing up, that in itself is a major win. So good job. Our challenge today, day number 13, is today I will judge nothing that occurs. And this I really love, because it's not only talking about judging others, but judging nothing. So let's go into that, judging our circumstances, judging our challenges. All right, so here's the lesson on the back. Not recognizing how limited was my vision, I thought it possible to pass judgment on the people and events in my life. Yet many of the experiences I have perceived as difficult or disastrous have provided me with opportunities to shift my perception. Without these challenges, I could never see that each one gives me another chance to learn the very lessons I most need. Today, I will view without judgment everything that occurs, and I will remind myself frequently, everyone exists with me to be loved, not judged. You know, one thing that Christ said in the New Testament in his teaching was, judge not, that, you know, judge not so that you are not judged. That's not the exact wording, but, you know, judge not. There is power and peace that comes when we live in acceptance and with love and with serenity and like surrendering, rather than trying to judge, trying to control, trying to manipulate, trying to force. Living with insecurity, when we're judging others, it's almost always because we feel insecure in ourselves, and we recognize the weaknesses in others that we really feel internally within us. I learned that that's true. You know, I used to be much more judgmental and critical of other, you know, mothers and their mothering, or, you know, different life choices that people were making, and that all stemmed from me feeling insecure as a mother, me feeling like I wasn't doing it right, or, now I've learned, who am I to judge anyone? I don't really know all the secrets, but I do know that the core of it comes from just coming at a place of love rather than judgment, a place of appreciation instead of criticism. So there is peace found in releasing the need to defend ourselves against others and in releasing the need to judge others, even judging our life circumstances. When we judge them, it's like we almost perpetuate them. Just do a little check-in here with me. I've seen this in my own life, that oftentimes the same circumstance keeps coming up, a really challenging circumstance. And you can see it in other people's lives too. It's like the same thing keeps happening over and over and over. And it isn't until we finally learn from that circumstance or that situation that then it stops reoccurring in our life. It's like we're able to evolve out of that pattern. But until we learn from it, it keeps showing up. For Ben and I, it used to be financial struggles. Like it just kept showing up until we finally learned the lesson it was trying to teach us, until we finally decided to do some new things so we could start to get some new results, right? When you do different things, you get different results. So what does that look like for you? What keeps showing up in your life that maybe you're cursing it, and maybe it's actually a huge blessing? Maybe it's the very thing that you need. It's the very challenge that you need to allow you to grow and evolve into the person that you can really become. What can you learn from this lesson? What can you learn from this challenge so that you can take it and just that, grow from it, learn from it, move forward so it doesn't keep showing up. So if you've noticed, especially that kind of repetitive cycle, like it just keeps, why does this keep happening to me, right? Well, instead of judging that situation as something awful, or you're just a victim to it, or bad things always happen to me, anything like that, start to look for the lessons that it's trying to teach you. See how it's actually helping you to become a better person here on your journey. All right, so let's send this out. Let's declare it. Let's make a public declaration here into the group. Today, I will judge nothing that occurs. Okay? It doesn't mean that we're not wise and we don't use our reasoning to make good judgments, right? As far as that goes. But it's recognizing that all challenges, even if they're difficult or disastrous, provide me with opportunities to shift my perception, and that everyone exists with me to be loved, not judged. Know that your judgment is never going to change anyone. It's not going to change you. It's not going to change another person. It's not going to change a circumstance. But loving them is the only thing that will change you, that can change the way that you look at circumstances and the way that you look at other people. And it's how we shift. Remember our 3 areas of control? There's the one that we have 100% control over, some control over, like influence, and then no control over. As you learn to love and approach everyone and everything in a state of absolute love, then you can start to influence them. We will never have full control over them, but that will absolutely influence them and be able to bless their lives in more ways than we could possibly ever know. So let's send that out. Put it in the comments there. Today, I will judge nothing that occurs. And check in with me tomorrow. Let me know how you did. I know this is going to be fabulous for each of us. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.